Hey everyone, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking through a bunch of books that I bought recently. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about an update on Project Shelfaware, and I think that's it. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. If you're not new, I'm so glad you're back. So my name is Shelly. I really love books and reading, and I like talking about my reading life. I lost my train of thought for a moment, but I really love talking about my reading life, what I'm buying. I also have half dried hair because my hair is like half dry because it was so hot today that I had to take a shower. Like, I got out and kind of got slightly decent, and well, now I'm like put together somewhat, but man, it's so hot today. Anyways, apparently I also talk about the weather. If you like the vibes, I would encourage you to subscribe, stick around, and without any further rambling on, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. I have a couple of loose guidelines for myself in terms of book buying. Actually, I really have only one loose guideline. It is to only buy as many books as I'm reading, and the books that I'm reading for which I own, not just any book, but they have to be books that I own. And I have been keeping within that guideline. If I own the book on Kindle or if I own the book physically and I read it, then it counts as towards like a book credit. It's helping me with my checks and balances, and it counts for all books that I buy. So it means Kindle books and physical books. So that's been really exciting. It's been motivating me to read more from my shelves, and it's helping me kind of maintain my purchasing to a level that is more manageable, because I don't want to just overflow myself I don't want to have an overflowing collection of unread books. And yeah, so that's been what's going on. So I have 7 books to talk about, I believe. 8 books to talk about. One of them is on my Kindle, and I've actually already started it. But first of all, it's a book that I collect, kind of. I collect little versions of these vintage pocket paperback books. This is Virginia Woolf's A Writer's Diary. I like these little vintage books and vintage book covers. This is a Signet classic, I believe, and I really love Virginia Woolf. Sometimes I don't exactly intend to read these. I just really enjoy collecting them, and I'm pretty choosy. Like, I have a version of this that's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I have The Idylls of the King by Tennyson. But if I were to actually read these books, I would probably read them on my Kindle, because I like that they're in really pretty condition and I don't want them to fall apart. Actually, I read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn in a older paperback, and the cover ended up just totally disintegrating off of it. And I'm not super hard on my books. I'm not super precious either. I feel like I read quite naturally, and oh my goodness, but that book is wrecked, and I kind of wish I would have read a different version of it so I could have kept that pocket paperback. And so that's kind of the vibe for this book. Anyways, Virginia Woolf, A Writer's Diary. I know that she has volumes out there of her diaries, so this is just like a condensed selected works kind of thing. Speaking of little books, I also picked up Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey. So I have a mild interest in classic fantasy, and she's as classic as they come. This is the book one for Dragons of Pern. I got this at the thrift store. It's a pocket hardcover. It's a tiny hardcover. It's a discarded library copy, and what I love about these books is how well made they are, and they don't really make them like this anymore. I sound really old saying that. They really don't. It's just, they're meant to last. And I know that I know that she wrote about dragons, and it's an adventure story, I think. But that's about it. So I'm glad to have this in my collection. If you've read this or any of these books, will you please let me know? I'm curious about them. A book that I bought purely because I love the publisher, and it's the Bhagavad Gita. Oh my gracious. It's an epic poem that recounts the conversation between a warrior and a charioteer. This is an aesthetic and social document. I dabble a little bit in ancient literature, and I always feel very rewarded and satisfied when I finish anything that's ancient. I'm like, oh, I know that piece of the canon now. And I saw this and I was like, this looks like ancient literature. And so I was like, I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna try it so I can see and make up my own mind. I'm gonna have to learn more about this book, but I love Penguin Classics. I dabble a little bit, again, in ancient literature. I thought this would be a great addition to my collection, and I'm going to have to learn a little more about it. So if any of you have read it, please hit me up in the comments down below. Give me some details about it. Okay, a book, let's think. I have this red book that I flashed to you, and then the rest are historical fiction. So I have, I actually own this book, and again, in this like pocket version, like a little pocket paperback, but I don't want to read the pocket paperback. So I bought a copy, like a copy that I feel like is readable, and it's The Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I want to read a Christie. I have yet to read a Christie. And I feel like this is a copy that I deem readable. I think I would really enjoy like reading from this very manageable hardcover versus like a tiny pocket paperback that I want to collect, you know? Okay, now we're in my historical fiction section, okay? I think that I'm kind of becoming a historical fiction girly over here. I've been thinking more about historical fiction. I really enjoy diving into, I don't even have a specific like time period. I like weird historical fiction, as I have made a couple of videos about now, and I'm on this quest. So the first book that I have is by an author that writes historical fiction and has a quite big back catalog of historical fiction, but I've never read anything by her. And I was like, maybe I'll really like her stuff. And it's Geraldine Brooks. This is The Year of Wonders, a novel about the plague, and it is set in 1666. So we'll see how I get along with Brooks. If you know much about Geraldine Brooks, and like, I know she recently came out with her book Horse, which was, I don't know, it had mixed reviews from what I've seen. And I know that she's won the Pulitzer. I think she's won the Pulitzer, or the National Book Award, national bestseller. I know that she has all of the accolades, and so I'm like, if I like her, I could really enjoy more of her work, like the back catalogs and stuff. But I thought, why not? I found this and many of the, actually all the books, yes, all the books that I've shown so far I got from thrift stores. Actually only bought one book new and then one book on my Kindle. So I have this from Geraldine Brooks, and I guess we'll just see how I get along with her. And then based on the comments in my video, I made the videos about weird historical fiction recommended books, and y'all recommended me a whole bunch, and one that popped up that I was like, oh, that looks really cool, and I've heard good things about it, and it's The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. And this is about two cousins. They're comic book nerds, and they help start the industry. So it's set in New York in 1939, and I don't know, I don't know that much about it, but I remember this actually won the Pulitzer. Maybe I'm getting the Geraldine Brooks book and this book mixed up, but yeah, Chabon won the Pulitzer for this book. It's a chunkster. It is it's like 678 pages, but I've heard really good things about it, and I like art when art and words intersect. Like, I like that. I like that medium. And so I feel like this would really be up my alley. And anyways, you all recommended this to me, or one of y'all recommended this to me as weird historical fiction. And so when I saw this used in this gorgeous like paperback edition, which is my favorite kind of editions, I just about squealed. So, you know, I was like, I think you're coming home with me. The book I bought new, I think I bought it new. Did I buy new? I don't know. I'm second guessing myself. I bought because of Steve Donoghue. I'm always stocking his end of the year lists. I stock them all year. And then when December rolls around, I'm like, more books that I could fall in love with. And this was his number one for I'm saying weird historical fiction. This is his number one for historical fiction, and it is The Glutton by A.K. Blakemore. This is Blakemore's second book, and it is based on The Glutton of Lion, and a sort of epic hunger, and it's about, you know, someone who's eating more than just food. It's like, I don't know, and it's supposed to have vibes, you know, dark, atmospheric, very vibey. It's 1798 in France. All the vibes. I wish I could have more words than just that. You know, this cover is great. But, you know, I like this cover, but I actually like the other cover more, which is crazy to say because I think most people would like this one. But, yeah, the dark florals, I love dark florals. I just like the illustration, or like the fact that the title is in a character's mouth. I don't know, I really like that. Whereas I feel like this could be a couple of different books, a couple of different kinds of books, like a dark romance, or I mean, I feel like this could be fit into a lot of different genres, where the other one, I felt like it was saying, I'm a historical fiction book and you should read me now, like that kind of thing. So maybe I should, oh my gosh, I'm a mess. Maybe I should talk about, you know, maybe do a battle of the covers and aesthetics and all that. But anyways, the last book I bought, which I'm reading right now, is The Royal Governess. Is that right? By Wendy Holden. And again, this was like, it made Steve's best of the year, you know, one of them. And it just sounded really, really good. Wendy Holden is a writer whose origins, I believe, are in like what we would consider like chick lit, or just light, fun stories whose audience is mostly women. When I look at that, and then she started this new series, and it is about the Royal Outsiders, I think it's called, or like, it's about people who are not by blood royalty and that have maybe a scandal attached to them, or a lot of history, a lot of juiciness. And so this one is, I forget who's the main character, Marion, and she is a nanny or teacher governess for the royal family in like the early 1930s, I think. And I'm reading it and I'm really enjoying it. It's great. Like, and the reason why I mentioned Wendy Holden's background is because she's got really like quippy banter. She has these like really charming characters, and I like it. It's more near center. It's not weird. It's not very weird at all, which maybe I would be it wouldn't be necessarily my cup of tea, but so it's more kind of following the path of a general historical fiction book. But I've been really enjoying it. Like, I feel like it's well done. The dialogue is great. The banter is great. It really has like a strong feminist undertone in it all, and I've been just enjoying it. And it's, you know, I think, you know, you can kind of get like, this is the heavier, sadder historical fiction, and then you get to like more of the lighter, more easy to digest historical fiction. And this is, you know, leaning into more of like the easier to digest and just lighter, a little bit lighter. It doesn't feel too heavy, at least not yet. And I bought that on my Kindle, so I'm like 15% through, and I've been really enjoying it. It's been fun. So that's it. That's what I've read. Tell me if you know anything about any of these books, people, anything I've mentioned. I would love to know what you have to say. And yeah, just mostly thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye.